Hello, my name is Dishne Matthew York. Welcome to St. Martin. Are you ready? Welcome to the heart of the Caribbean, where the sun kisses the sand and the spirit of St. Martin never sleeps. St. Martin is not just an island, it's a celebration of life, a place where every moment is a new adventure. Whether you're here with your family, your significant other, or flying solo, we've got something special just for you. Our calendar is bursting with excitement all year round. In February, join the rhythm of St. Martin's Frontside Carnival for a spectacle of colors, dance, and music that will ignite your soul. The St. Martin Carnival on February 15th at Marigot Square promises an evening of joy and cultural richness. March brings the world-famous Heineken Regatta and the St. Martin Festival, where the beats are as hot as the Caribbean sun. Feel the adrenaline as sailboats race across crystal clear waters and music fills the air at the pulsating concert. But the party doesn't stop there. April marks St. Martin Carnival on the Dutch side. 3 weeks of amazing foods, a fiesta of parades, concerts, and our one-of-a-kind Juve morning, along with many unforgettable moments. It's a celebration like no other. Don't think the fun slows down in summer. We keep the vibes high with summer jams, a season-long parties and activities that keeps the island pulsating with energy. And just when you thought it couldn't get better, July brings the Qualichi Festival, a showcase of local and international talents and culture that will leave you mesmerized. In November, the Frontside hosts the Gastronomy Festival. A culinary journey awaits, where top chefs craft exquisite dishes, weaving tales of tradition and taste. Join us at Grand Cast Boulevard on November 10th for a night of gastronomic delight. You see, here in St. Martin, there's no such thing as a slow season. We're always in full swing, always buzzing with life. As the international hub of the Caribbean, we welcome guests from all walks of life. Whether it's a quick layover, a weekend getaway, or an extended vacation, St. Martin is where the magic happens. Join me on my island on April 23rd at the Miss Caribbean Carnival Queen Pageant for an evening of elegance, class, and the crowning of the first ever Miss Caribbean Carnival. Discover the magic, feel the vibe, and embrace the opportunities. St. Martin, where every day is a celebration and every moment is a memory in the making.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport. The experience will move you.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okie dokie, what's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? Let's give you an update on the screening process that is taking place for the 2x4 government. Of course, 9 minister candidates have been submitted since after a couple of months after the elections. The screening process has begun. There are 3 components that we have to take into account when it comes to the screening process. The first one is a questionnaire you get. So, are you a criminal? No. Are you a nice person? Yes. Will you backstab somebody? Yes. Are you a good politician? Yes. So it's just a regular questionnaire. That's pretty simple. You can put what you want. Do we have permission to dig behind your life, from your neighbors to your family members to your long distance cousins to your ex-partners? Yes, because I want to become minister and get a big salary. All right, that's one. The second component has to do with the Attorney General. The Attorney General, of course, of Saint Eustatia, Bonaire, Aruba, Curacao. I put so much islands in there. But the Attorney General for our region. All right, and the Attorney General has to give a in-depth report on all the candidates. There are 9 candidate ministers, so they get a individual breakdown of what is pending as far as cases is concerned. Is there anything on the prosecutor of interest? What are the old cases that is pending or that he was charged for? In the case, for example, with Christophe Emmanuel, from what I heard, when he was young, he stole a bike. He and his friend stole a bike in town, and they went joyriding. And then, of course, police arrested them, just kept them for a day in jail or whatever, and let them go. So that came up in the report. Like, what does that mean? For example, they was doing a screening on another candidate. Christian Heidegger Martin. The fact that she's married to Theo, so it's like, okay, so was you there when he stole money and where he took money, and were you there? Did you how would you know that? Like, come on. So just specific little things. Some made sense, some didn't make any sense. In the case of Lyndon Lewis, let's just say women don't like him at all, boy, because he gets some complaints back in the day from some disgruntled women. I tell you, this man gonna be the 007 minister. He's gonna be like a new woman every event.
What do I do now? What do I do now?
Roll an 8 for this old beanbag, would you?
Okay. I can't believe my eyes.
Hey! Why don't you take a look at these old sneakers?
Gonna be fun. Who's gonna be seen with the minister today? But yes, so it was just like, okay, he had relationship problems. What does that have to do with him being a minister? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So that was delivered last week Friday, or last week Thursday, Friday, by the Attorney General. Gave it to the formateur, Luc Mercelina, and then Luc Mercelina informed every candidate of their result. And then afterwards, the follow-up discussion was held with the governor. Of course, the governor had some hard time with certain things in some reports. Of course, the formateur, Dr. Luc Mercelina, gets to rebut and say, hey, leave me alone. We're going to still go ahead with these candidates because they are good for St. Martin. They're very good. And then the third and final component is the BDSM, aka the Secret Service of St. Martin, aka the Melee Report, aka the good stuff, the background checks, but in their own way. So the ones that they spy on you because you give them permission to spy on you, so they will tell you about yourself without you knowing about yourself. It's the craziest report that they're waiting on. For me, the least relevant, because at the end of the day, if they do the questionnaire, they do the Attorney General, they get the okay, kind of sort of green light already. What you waiting for the BDSM one for?
This van has the latest in law enforcement technology. Watch.
Suspect! Suspect!
You have the right to remain silent.
Sweet. Hey, let me try.
Cleveland, don't! Minority suspect. Minority suspect. Danger. He's got a gun.
Look how they're going to put me in trouble now. I thought, okay, listen, Secret Service, you do a good job. You do a great job. Don't tap me, please. Don't destroy my life. It's already, like, please, don't do it. But in any case, I know that for sure that the candidate ministers are waiting for this final report that's supposed to be by before the 15th of April. And then they get that final report, and then the swearing-in ceremony should be set by the governor. Let's wait and see what's going to happen with that, because we've been waiting and seeing and waiting and seeing, and nothing coming out of it at all. Nothing at all. Now, today on the show, what we're going to do is we're going to decipher a little bit of the Parliament meeting that took place last week, which is the week before, which is the 2024 budget. There are some pieces that we still have to show because it was 7 hours, people. It was a 7-hour meeting. So that's why we always have to go back to it, because we have to make sure we show you the nuggets that you might have missed in the meeting. There were motions that were presented, and that is what we're going to do in today's show. We're going to go through every motion. What were the motions? What politics were played? Who motivated? Who did not motivate? Who voted for? Who voted against? It was hilarious. Let's get into it.
I know it's late. We have a long day. I'm going to keep it very simple. I have a statement to make alone, that's all. I don't have no question to the ministers. I want to thank all you again for the presentation, for the budget, bringing the budget to income. Well, this is the outgoing government, maybe, or incoming government. We don't know what's happening right now. All I see is people back and not happening. I speak in first now, realize it after. A lot of things happening, man. You know, I got a lot of drama left and right. I don't know. But all I want to say from my statement, everybody has to understand we got to work together. You understand? If we say we're here for the country of St. Martin, this is the best what we're doing here. Everybody saying that we want to work together. Let's see today and passing this budget today. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you, that'll be all.
Good evening to everyone. I have no questions at all. But I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to say, "Geen behoefde." But I just wanted to make a statement since listening to my fellow MP, Akeem Arundel, make that fun statement. For the last couple of days, we've been moving through unprecedented times. I'm talking to my fellow members of Parliament. It's like a quagmire we've been in. Eh? It's like a twilight zone. We've been calling it for the most a limbo. But while in this limbo, believe it or not, we're making history. Do you realize you're making history here today, members of Parliament? The first time in history, a transitioning government is presenting a budget. It never happened before in the 14 years. Think about it. Everybody think a little bit about it. Never happened before. We're all making history here today. And then, on top of that, the government that created the budget is now in the opposition seat in Parliament. And speaking with a fellow colleague of mine, a fellow MP colleague of mine yesterday, I'm not going to mention his or her name, it was stated, I feel weird, I feel strange. You know, I'm sitting there and I'm coming here and I'm in opposition. I don't know. It's the weirdest feeling. But the one important thing we have here today is the budget. The budget that we need to pass for the sake of the country, for the country to continue to function. And that's all I wanted to say, that we've made history and that history continue to prevail. And let's work together like my former MP member, Arundel, stated. Let's get this ball rolling. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
Blessed evening, Madam Chair, Secretary General, honorable ministers, and my dear colleagues, and the ones in the public here present, and the ones viewing online. It's almost 2 months after finalizing being a member of Parliament for the first time. It has been a hectic few weeks. I came to work and to work for the people of St. Martin. That's our purpose here, to work together for all people of St. Martin. Coalition or opposition, it doesn't matter. If what you come to do is in the benefit of St. Martin, I am pro. It's all about action, country above self. I'm here to address the pressing issues in the community and to serve as a voice of that same community. That's my job. Transparency is key, and that's the reason why I'm asking critical questions. Some might take it personal, but it's not personal. It's not about us in here, it's about the people. That being said, we have all been seeing the different videos surrounding in our community in regards to the different school fights. All have been going viral. We, as the people, must ensure that our children don't end up in prison. Rehabilitation is a must. And for the ones that know, I have been a long-time advocate for this cause. So therefore, action is needed. We need to be creative. I'm therefore also pleased to see Mr. Violinist, also known as Lexi, who I know from my legal capacity, as an attorney to see that he wrote a book, Surviving Point Blanche Prison, for a long time. You can order this book now through Amazon. This book also needs to be spreaded, in my opinion, because it's not available in hard copy. It should be in hard copy so that the knowledge can be shared under our youth. Because often we realize a lack of knowledge can have other consequences. We need to involve and empower our community. We cannot afford to remain passive any longer and waiting on others to do what we can tackle ourselves. The community is in dire need of assistance. The youth is currently out of hand. I asked several critical questions to the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport, also to the Ministry of Justice in regards to the youth on St. Martin. Unfortunately, I haven't seen no structured, proper program in place to tackle the current issue on the island. And this was really shocking to me, because from one angle, it is stated that justice is on the end of the tail, and education is stating it's very important, but then on the other hand, nothing is really being done about it now. The ministry mentioned in his presentation that he's waiting on UNICEF. While in several questions, it was made clear how important it is to tackle this matter. Short-term, mid-term, and long-term. But I'm now looking at short-term issues. So I'm of the opinion that at this moment, we cannot continue to wait. We need action, and as our MP Emmanuel states, we need it now. Hence, I propose 2 amendments for Country St. Martin, because I believe for our youth, enough is enough. And as some might be aware as well, we have seen the need of legal assistance on our island. I myself have been giving free legal advice for a while. During campaign period, I introduced the legal advice store. This was well received in the community. And I believe that the community deserves access to that legal assistance, as a legal help desk on the island is a must. So that's why I think we need to continue on this path, and also to prepare our community for the vision that we have for St. Martin. Hence, I propose the 2 amendments which are connected to peaceful, mentioned Peaceful Together School, a violence-free initiative, and also to establish a legal help desk on the island, so that everyone who needs legal assistance and cannot afford it will be able to go through the legal help desk. And as we all know, through VSA, those legal help desks has been, there's no legal help desk, but there are help desks in different communities. So therefore, it will be connected to that. I think if we look at the different projects in connection to that, we can see the need for a pilot program in connection to the school fights. It's broader than that, It's not only focused on the school fights, but as we have heard here today, we have seen that it is a combination of factors with the different stakeholders. And in my amendment in regards to that, I am detailed explaining the need of addressing this matter for the youth and also specifically for the young girls on our island. As we have seen the different questions that have been asked to the respected ministries, through you, Madam Chair, it was made clear that a pilot program is needed together with the different ministries, being justice, education, and also VSA. And by having that pilot program in place, the three ministries can work together with the different stakeholders, being the schools, the police, the prosecutor office, the Ministry of Justice itself, education, youth workers, and then we can plan and coordinate, work together, consult each other, develop the different programs, such as HALT, because I'm aware of HALT, and HALT works good in the Netherlands, and we should have a HALT system. So that's also mentioned in the amendment, and I'm happy to see that the Ministry of Justice also mentioned HALT. So I believe that that is something that we should continue in, and in the pilot program we can develop and evaluate what HALT will have as an effect on the Justice Ministry in connection with the prosecutor office and the court system. And as you know, I also am aware how stressful it is currently on the court system to have youths being involved in that. The plan to further develop the long-term goal for the tackling of the youth can also, again, be involved in the project that has been developed by the ministry, or the ministry is busy developing the boot camp or the military academy that can, based on the pilot, we have the numbers and we see where and who and with what structure those youths fall in that program. We need to get the ball rolling, I believe, and to inform the youth, inform the community that we're busy with this and that there will be a zero tolerance. I believe that action needs to be taken. And by approving this amendment, I know we will be voting on that matter later, I believe that the current issue that we're dealing with the youth will have a holistic approach, and that holistic approach will be by bringing more visibility of police officers. And I'm aware that we don't have a lot of them, but we do have the CAMAR, and we also have VKS. So in the combination of the three sectors, we can invest in prevention and also look into the matters of how can this be avoided. We also have like the option to avoid youths of being in groups together, also known as samenscholingsverbod. By not having small groups together, that can also avoid them, the issue from escalating. And that can have also several consequences for the betterment of that youth. Because a lot of times, youth is being hyped up by the other friend or other schoolmate, and then a lot of times it's escalated. So by having a samenscholingsverbod, that can also be looked into through that pilot program. Also, if we go through the pilot program, if we continue with the pilot program, this also makes clear in what way the home situation should be tackled, and in what way the parents, because we heard it as well, that the parents play a very important role in this matter. So therefore, I believe that also in the pilot program, the parents will be involved to have that connection with school, the justice worker, the justice department, and also the parents involved in that. If you look at the background information, as we all know, at this moment, the Juvenile Detention Center, being the Miss Lali Center, is not housing a lot of youths. I understood, if I have it correctly, that there's only one juvenile between the age of 12 and 18 years, and the rest are between 18 and 21. So therefore, I am of the opinion that there needs to take place a revamping of the MLC, and In that revamping, I believe that we also need to look, and that can also be looked into in that pilot program, to make sure that the current girls that are committing crimes, they're not facing any consequences, seeing that once they commit a crime or once they are arrested after a few hours, maximum of 6 hours, you can be questioned, they are being let go without any consequences a lot of times, and therefore they need to be aware of the fact that there will be a consequence to their action. So therefore, we have to investigate if there is a possibility to create the 2 wings in Miss Lally Center, one for the males, the young boys, and the other side for the young girls, to be creative in that manner, because at this moment, there is no equality in that. The young boys are being arrested and the girls are being let go without consequences. Not even the ankle bracelet monitoring is being used, while it can be used for minors as well. So that can also be evaluated in the pilot program that I am proposing through this amendment. And then also in that pilot program, we can look into the matter how court cases, including minors, can be tackled in a shorter period of time, because at this moment, if a minor commits a crime, within a period of a year, if they're lucky, they will see the judge, while there are possibilities to speed that up, also called snelrechtszittingen, so that they will face the consequences of their action right away. So that pilot program, the idea is to have it for a period of 3 months to evaluate and gather the numbers, to latest start September 24. And the financing is also clear on the where it's being taken from. The budget stays neutral in that sense. I asked the different questions, and based on the answers that I have received, the part of the complete package of the 250,000 for the 3 factors, JVO, anti-counterfeit, is being lowered to 200,000, and then the pilot program will be mentioned in that factor for 100,000 to make that possible. Also, if we look at the need for the legal help desk, the legal help desk is also pretty straightforward. The need of this legal help desk on the island, I believe that the different help desks, being the ones in Cole Bay, Dutch Quarter, St. Peter's, Hope Estate, can make use of that legal advice through attorneys that are willing to cooperate on a picket basis. Other than that, you have the option.
Excuse me, MP Roseberg, MP Utley. You would like to make interruption?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I must say I'm listening to the MP. I'm listening keenly to the MP, especially where it relates to the VSR aspect. And while I think it's a good initiative, what I would like to know is that which stakeholders were consulted. I'm missing that aspect of it. In my other capacity, I think it's something that could be used, but it's very important to know what stakeholders were consulted. And number 2, I think it's a bit unclear on the second amendment. It's very long, that was said. And I see that you say that you received advice. Did you consult with the Minister of Finance on any of these budget amendments?
Thank you, MP Utley. MP Roseberg.
Thank you very much for those 2 questions. In connection to the VSA ministry, the stakeholders that were consulted were in regards to the ones that work with the different help desks, and the fact that once because this is not something that just came about, once it was made known, or once the public saw that seeing my legal expertise and my legal job as an attorney and providing the legal advice, the community came to me, and also those working in VSA made it known, like, is this only politically related, or is it something that will take place on a structural basis, because we are in need of that on St. Martin. And therefore I had a meeting with the department connected to the different help desk. And based on what was brought forward, I used that in this amendment. Also, in regards to consulting the Ministry of Finance, what I did is I looked at the budget, and seeing that I'm not a numbers person, I knew that to look at the budget and to make sure that it stays budget neutral and see where are the funds being used from, because that was my input. And also the specialist from the finance ministry made it clear, okay, if you're moving funds, how are you moving them to make sure that it stays budget neutral? So to answer the question of the MP Otley, I did consult indirectly by asking how to make it neutral and make sure that it's not surpassing the budget. So I think that question was answered. And also the funds that are being used are based on the numbers mentioned on the budget, and where I believe, if you look, for example, at the victim support system or the victim support office, it has not been operational as yet. So the amounts that are mentioned currently on the budget, I believe that the amounts a part of that amount can be taken off to tackle the matter at hand. So again, the amounts that have been used, and then if I look, for example, also at the school safety initiative from the Ministry of Education, which was first 175,000, and it became 100,000. I lowered it to 100,000 to tackle that school safety initiative, because up to now, I haven't received, although I requested it on several occasions from the ministry to you, Madam Chair, to get that specification. So the amendment is detailed, because I don't believe in just providing an amendment without details. It's explaining step by step how it's going to be executed, but the numbers speak for itself. And I believe that based on the detailed information provided, that it's furthermore not really rocket science. It's just getting the ball rolling instead of just talking and not executing what needs to be done. Because officially, if I'm looking at what has been happening for the past month plus, it's shocking to see that there hasn't been a plan in place which could have been executed quite easily. So therefore, I'm using my role as a member of parliament to get that ball rolling through the amendment. And I think it's time to focus and do what needs to happen. And indeed, as my colleague MP Otley stated, it's time to raise the bar. So let's continue to raise the bar. And I believe by providing this amendment through Parliament, it's a way of raising the bar and being proactive. I thank you.
Let's take a quick break. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more late night. Yeah. Let's take a break. Let's take a break. Let's take a breather. Take a breather. Take a breather. You see the village coming along? Yeah. It's coming along.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
Hi, darling. I'm fine. Just calling to say hi.
Oh, okay. We got over here.
Girl, I hear watching this movie and it.
But, Mom, you finished all your minutes yet?
No, girl. Talem has new postpaid plans and automatically upgraded my postpaid package.
Is that so?
Guess what? I am getting more minutes and almost double the amount of data for the same price.
I guess I'm making a switch now.
Let me call you back, Mom.
Hey, Tash, you have Telem new postpaid plans?
All right, we continue with the deciphering of the parliamentary handling of the budget 2024.
Madam Speaker, I came with a few questions for the Minister of Justice on Carnival. And then I was like, you're going to inherit that anyway. Why ask the question? And then I was like, okay, I have some more questions for the Minister of Finance. I have questions. And I was like, but what sense does it make? Because you're simply going to get the same answers. I came with a whole set of pictures of Mary Laurent School in Miller Region. Those were the pictures I had from since I did the live during the election time with Clyde Martin, a member of Parliament. Now, picture right next to the school. No windows, no roof, no nothing. All those pictures I came with to stick them up on the board so I can explain to the people of St. Martin why I will not be supporting this budget. Because I don't believe in millions, 36 million or 30 million for a prison. And hear what I'm saying, and we can't even get a library bill. You realize the tone change. I ain't saying the government, you know. Time before that I want to say, but this government can't even build a library. I said, but we can't even get a library bill. Can't even put a roof on the school. The Minister of Education walked in, 12 million. Charlotte Brooks in, 12 million. On top of John Lamley Center and drawings and you know, I look at builders in this hall. I look at them. Not one of them could tell me that the John Lamley Center is conducive or a correct place for a school. For a school. And then I went and I took pictures of Rahul Illich. Because the minister said, and he put up the pictures, it's complete, it's done. And then I said, well, what happened to the stands? What happened to the bleachers? No roof, railing hanging. And then I was like, but Chris, you can inherit that. Leave it alone. And then I heard them yesterday talking. You know, everybody was having fun. Halt! And confused. Those were the words of the day. Minister was over there with their phone out taking pictures. It was a happy moment. It was a happy moment. Until MD Westcott came and leveled it out. Then all the halting stopped. It was over. And then I'm still seeing long faces because of what happened today. But the chair did well. But I want to say this, though. I'm not asking no questions to none of the ministers. Madam Chair, when you're starting to build a house, and you have your foundation, there's something called profile. The builders in here they know what's a profile. They don't know. The only piece of material you need for your profile to start is a piece of 2x4. In the corners, you put your nails in them, whether you're using your 8-inch or your 16 block. You take out your level, your tape, your measure, you put in your nails, you tie your string and you pull them to see how you're going to level out the blocks and how they're going to fit. The 2x4 you need for the profile. But I'm part of building a new house now. And that's what it is. That's what it is. So I'm saying to the people of St. Martin, you must need some water. I'm saying to the people of St. Martin, just a little bit more patience. I am sort of running out of it too as well. But just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I am not going to beat up on this SG and beat up on this one because you're going to inherit it. You got to go and still have that conversation and talk with them too as well. So when they come in and tell you, if you don't approve this budget, you're going against civil servant. If you don't do this, you're going against that. Please. Years before, you never give cola. You never do nothing. You come now in the last shower of the rain. And that's the good thing when you're going out of government, you know. And when you're ending up in opposition, it's only then you want to get all the things done. It's only then you want to get them done. Only then. But for now, that 2x4 straight. It's strong. Madam Chair playing out the kings that was in it yesterday. The West did a good job. And for them not to bend, she put them down on some blocks. Because, like I tell you, the builders, you know how we just do it. She laid them out straight, put them down on some blocks, and put some more blocks on top of them to keep it straight. So they ain't bending and twisting nowhere in the sun. You can give it a cut throat as much as you want. But we good. But when it comes to this budget, no. No, I'm saying this especially to the justice. I have a problem with UNOPS. I have a serious problem. And to me, no. The more I dig into them, I have a problem giving that kind of money, or even putting up that kind of money for a prison. The former minister, Honorable Rhoda Arundel, said, you give me 30 million, then we don't have to build no more prisons. Because we can just have our best schools and everything that we need. To me, yeah, schools, sporting facilities, so many different things are in much more need. I'm not saying that the prison is not. I'm just saying for me, there are more things of priority. It can't be a political party that has two ministries, justice and education, and, you know, and you're talking about one. And two ministries that deals with people. That deals with people. That are hurting. Teachers, justice workers, and I must take 36 million and put in concrete and steel. Not even for 500 prisoners. I have a problem with that. I have a serious problem with that. I have a problem with taking 12 million and saying to the people of St. Martin that you're going to build a school of performing on top of a community center that you very well know can't go there. You know it can't go there. No one is not saying it's not needed, but look for a piece of land and build a proper school. Something we haven't done. Something we haven't done in the last 20 years. The last school that was built from scratch in this country is a Hillside Christian School in Cahill. From scratch. But it's not a government school. What we do is patch up Orania School, patch up Martin Luther King School, patch up this school, and all we are doing is patching. Madam Chair, through you is nothing in particular against the Minister of Justice for her initiative with the prison Nothing against the Minister of Finance for putting the monies there, but I can't agree with that. I am not doing that. My other colleagues, if they want to go ahead, they can. But I know 7 of you all have to approve your budget, and you just need one more from this side. And it's approved. It just won't be me. I thank you very much.
I just kind of want to take full circle, right? Because I kept things, every time I come up here for a budget debate, I really try to stick to the facts. I try to stick to the numbers. And it's either what's in the budget or what is being offered up on presentations that we get from the ministers. And every time you come back to the budget, you learn something new. This may be, I think, maybe my 3rd or 4th budget. But if anyone can see the size of it, this year it was like 100 extra pages, right? So it's a lot to go through. And it's only normal that when you come, like, every time you have to go in, you get something more. You learn something more. You go deeper into something that you didn't notice beforehand. And I asked a simple question, a very simple question. I said, I just want to get an understanding of how much personnel we have, how much we need, what else we're going to do with it going forward. And I was really quite surprised on it. It wasn't to make anybody trip up. It was just a basic question I wanted to make sure that we can support government. Because our role here, besides holding them accountable, is making sure that what government is doing, we're in alignment with, that we can actually support them in that. And I'll give you a brief example of, as I go through the ministries in terms of obtaining this information. So without any issues at all, at the end of me requesting these questions from Central Committee meeting and then coming into it again in this OVE, in this public meeting, there was one ministry that stood out to me, and that was the Ministry of Finance. And the reason it stood out to me is because they knew exactly what I was asking. And perhaps maybe, I don't mean no offense to anyone, but when you're asking questions from a financial perspective, finance people get it. So I literally wanted to know, what do we have in accordance with our function book? What do we have that is actually in place? What is there at the end of the year? What else do we need? And what I found out was, for an example, the Ministry of Finance, in their function book, they have 200 people, but what they actually really have at the end of the year is 206 persons, which means their function book also needs to be updated to reflect 206 persons. And that is the purpose of my question, is how can I support you? Because when here on this side, the 15 members of Parliament actually understand what is happening in government, then you'll see that we're really working for the people because we're supporting government in exactly what they need. Moving on to the second ministry that was okay with providing the information was the Ministry of VSI. But to me, it's no surprise because the SG from the minister, the one who was the head of finance control at the Ministry of VSI is now who's the SG in finance. So no surprise there. I'm not trying to point out people to give them praise, but you have to give Jack his jacket where it's due. Because the point of this conversation is, when I was on that other side as a minister, right, we all started government talking about how we don't want to operate in silos, right? That's how we started off. But let me tell you, the real threat here, besides having egotistical ministers, is operating in silos. Because I also requested, when I came up here for clarification, for first round, for other questions during Central Committee, and then also coming in here, I said, why don't you go and ask the SG of the Minister of Finance how to get the work done or how to do it correctly? I mean, there was even a cheat sheet provided by the SG of Finance. But again, it goes back to the point that operating in silos is a very, very big risk. So it might be a warning of this outgoing government and a warning to the incoming government that I'm part of the coalition of. Operating in silos is at the detriment of your country and your people, okay? And I want to go through the rest of the ministries. I have to say, kudos to the Ministry of Education for attempting. Kudos for the Ministry of TEAT for attempting, because I got a call this morning at 7 o'clock making sure that what they were providing was correct, and I appreciate that because it tells you how civil servants are going above and beyond. And justice, don't even talk about that because the staff is here in this building, and I'm saying, can you explain this? And they're sitting with you and making sure. I'm not trying to set anybody up. I'm not trying to trip them up. I am really trying to be in a position where I understand what government needs and how I can support them. I feel like Jerry Maguire, literally like, help me help you. That's literally what I was trying to do. But this was a challenge. It was a massive challenge because there was one ministry that didn't even try. I had like, instead of 12 tables, I had like six numbers there. And the thing is that sometimes I want to find out if the one ministry that didn't try was the ministry of Rami in the sense of providing the information. And the reason I'm pointing that out is because I understand the minister is not here, and I understand that we have a ward namer, but it goes back to, are you not providing the information because you don't care? Or are you providing that you're not, and the minister is not here? Because I really wanted to understand what is going on here. Like, why did I get nothing from Rami? And it's not fair to say that a minister is not here to represent. Because if we all really care about this country, we'll all be working together and not in silos. Because when instructions were given to go ahead to the same ministry that had it literally almost correct, it was like almost 100%, they didn't do it. So are you working for the people, or are you working to just disrespect me? Because I ain't disrespected when you don't provide information. The people who end up being disrespected, actually, when you don't provide it, is the civil servants. Because that's the fourth pillar. That is the fourth pillar of any successful country, is the civil servants. And what I got was insufficient information to support my country. And it's just for me to let them know that the biggest issue that we have at the end of the day isn't about one person in P&O who is the problem, who has all the power in the world, or the other person that should know HR being the problem. When you go back to just the basics of knowing your personnel, knowing what they need, knowing how much you need, trust me, there's a long way that you can go. A very, very, very long way. So that was the purpose of me asking that. I wanna just mention that to everybody. One other thing I encountered that I really want to get out there. What I saw was civil servants that was very eager to share the information. Civil servants that was very engaged in making me understand when I didn't understand, and I was brave enough to say I don't understand to their face. And I also saw civil servants that were intimidated to give me the information. What that proves to me is that perhaps some ministers try to control a little bit too much what happens in the core workforce of civil service. Because when you have ministers with all of their power, that think that they run everything, then you have civil servants that are silenced. And that is the biggest issue I saw in the ministry of Rami not giving me the information, not because of a minister being absent, but the fact that across the board, I'm not singling out anyone, what is happening at the level of the ministers, do not forget your civil servants. That is what I saw today. I saw civil, and it's incredible. It's really incredible to me that really people are scared to speak up the truth, because if you talk the truth and you say what is there, then you know that you can be supported. And it says that maybe perhaps, just perhaps, that cabinets have a little bit too much power when they're not in the interest of the overall picture of St. Martin. And that's what I wanted to say from that exercise. And I hope that the incoming government, when I finally sworn in and everything is done, that you keep that in your mind, because I will remind you about it. Number two, besides the personnel, there's two more things, right? One is 58 million. And I know that the Minister of Finance, through you, Madam Chair, probably recognized that figure one time. And the other one is Under the Sea, just like the song from The Little Mermaid. So 58 million. I will tell you all my issues with this budget is that when you look at the expense side, you can guarantee yourself, I'll bet anything on it right now, that those expenses are pretty much very realistic expenses, okay? Very realistic. That 58 million extra revenue in the 2024 budget versus 2023, I got issues with it. I have massive issues with it, because 58 million, I'm not going to deny the fact that that minister over there, Madam Chair Lady, sorry I can't point, sorry about that. It's really like the island side coming in on me. But I know that the minister really tries hard. I know it. I've worked with him. I know it. But 58 million is a tough pill for me to swallow when you're telling me that it's coming from things that are not really there and ready yet. And I'm fearful. And the risk for me in this budget is the fact that we have all those expenses, partner, but a 58 million, I don't know how we're going to do that in the last 3 quarters of 2024 to bring that in. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're going across the board to looking at anything that you want to change and how you want to spend. The last part is Under the Sea. I take note of the fact that, you know, the topic this morning, I want to give you all a little story, right? Because I gave the notice of lateness this morning. There was a reason for that, right? There is a project coming on. There's a camp going on here this weekend, and it's called Climate Justice Camp. And I want to point it out because it's the first time that this Climate Justice Camp is taking place in the region, in the Caribbean, okay? And what's interesting is the topic, like the popular item these days is, environment, climate justice. Yeah, we want to help the environment. We want to support the environment. Climate change is a topic around the world that everybody is taking control of and going with it. But when you're going to talk about climate justice and protecting the environment, you have to actually put your money where your mouth is, okay? So you cannot say that you are for protecting the environment and stuff like that when you want to go basically give a lease out for under the sea. That's my issue here. So I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to use the words that was the word of du jour, or the word of the day yesterday about halt. You can be assured that there will be a halt to under the sea rentals. I'm going to tell you that because the way that I saw things going in this government is the fact that at the rate we're going, you can't just talk the talk. At the rate that we are going, let me tell you something. We won't be able to swim in the water anymore. That's at the rate that we are going in this island. So under the sea, that, we're going to come back and visit that again after budget debate. But I'm going to give you a heads up that that is not going to happen anymore. And if I'm going to swim out in any ocean, no boat is going to stop me and tell me I must pay $10 to swim in my ocean. Because we're already encroaching on our beaches willy-nilly and calling it economic success and that this is how we're improving our economy. No way, Pat, no, because my water, my sea, and my sand ain't for sale. Thank you very much, Madam Chair Lady.
Thank you, MP De Weaver. Next on the speakers list is MP Luke Mersalina. MP Mersalina, you have the floor.
All right, that does it for the late night show. Thank you so much for watching. Until tomorrow, do have a safe, blessed one. Bye-bye.